We all have moments in life where we're faced with a choice to keep going the same way we always have, or to say yes to something new, something better. I'm Kat, and this is Say Yes with Kat, a podcast about exploring holistic health, mind, body, and soul. Together, we'll uncover the practices, stories, and insights that can help you live a more vibrant and empowered life, full color. So are you ready to say yes? Let's dive in. All right, boys and girls, we're going to get into some big talk today, starting with the big word, emotional resilience. What is it really? Well, it's defined as the ability to bounce back. Bounce back from what? Stress, adversity, and emotional pain. This word is not about never feeling difficult emotions. It's about navigating them and learning how to do that in a way that feels healthy and also empowering. This is a subject I've tried to embed into my holistic journey because I understand that life is about these feelings. And every time I've tried to box them up and put them on a shelf and ignore them, they've come back and I've suffered emotionally, physically, and even in my small little network of friends and family. So this year, I wanted to lean into it, and I began by picking a word that was a theme to drive my learning this year. I chose wholehearted, and in my research to understand what wholehearted means, I discovered a book by Pema Chödrön. I apologize to her in advance if I did not pronounce her name correctly. I have done my best. The book is about wholehearted living in a broken-hearted world. It talks a lot about true emotional resilience being the ability to both feel and heal in life. It's not about avoiding the discomfort. It's about embracing it, learning how to accept those uncomfortable feelings, living through them, and then finding some healing from it. So feeling fully and healing deeply sounds a bit like full color, doesn't it? As you continue to listen along with us today, I want you to think about resilience being an ability to maintain balance and inner peace as life is going up and down for you. Something we can all relate to and something we can all benefit from. So now you're thinking, Kat, how am I supposed to do this? I get emotional resilience will make me feel better in life and I'll learn how to deal with these feelings, but how can I do that today? I'm going to point to the 8 pillars of holistic health. We've talked about these before. You can use these pillars to make small changes in your life to build that muscle of emotional resilience. Let's start with physical wellness. Taking time to nourish your body by giving it the rest that it deserves and the movement that it needs creates those chemicals like the serotonin and the balanced cortisol that can support our ability to be more resilient as life impacts us day to day. So I'll remind you again, if you haven't already, consider those nighttime routines that help you get the full night's rest of sleep that you need. And you can use Qigong for gentle movements. If you want something more dynamic, those walks outside, yoga, going for a bike ride, anything that allows the blood to circulate in the system, to offload the extra cortisol that your body has built up, and to engage your serotonin creators in your body. Let's talk about the next pillar, emotional wellness. We know we're going to feel upset, but sometimes in society we're made to feel we can't discuss it. Let's start moving into a place where we acknowledge that we're uncomfortable. We acknowledge we're experiencing these emotions. And from there, we can begin to understand those feelings. So just the simple act of saying, I'm sad, that could be your small change, your small step towards using emotional wellness for emotional resilience. Let's get into one of my favorites, social wellness. I've mentioned before, we're trying to grow a community here. Taking the steps to connect deeply with these supportive communities can help you grow your emotional resilience because now you're surrounded by other like-minded people that are willing to embrace and experience these with you. Intellectual wellness is exactly what you're doing today. You're making an effort to continuously learn about emotional resilience. I did the same thing by reading the Wholehearted book. You might be surprised to learn that environmental wellness is another space that you can make small steps to improve your ability to manage the ups and downs of life. Try creating more peaceful surroundings. As an example, I knew I was inviting a guest into my space today to share this podcast with, and I took the time to straighten up, to put away the clutter so that it's out of sight, so that we could sit and be comfortable and have a peaceful surrounding while we shared all of our wisdom and knowledge with you listeners. Another very important pillar is occupation, making sure that your work aligns with your personal values increases your feeling of integrity. And when we have a high level of feeling like day to day we are living within our values, we feel more grounded, more stable, and we're more resilient when life presents us with challenges. Our financial wellness is an area we often overlook when we're thinking about holistic wellness. But the truth is, guess what, guys? Money impacts us, okay? It really does drive a lot of our ups and downs in life. Learning how to achieve peace in your relationship with money and create clarity around your finances can help with this. Have those difficult, transparent conversations about financial situations with the people in your life that are impacted and can impact your financial situation. The last pillar I want to talk about is spiritual wellness. Finding purpose, meaning, and connection. Again, these are creating that feeling of a foundation, grounding ourselves within ourselves. When we feel this sense of stability, the ups and downs don't take as much energy for us to navigate our way through. I hope you found this discussion of the 8 pillars helpful. As usual, I will provide a quick summary for you in the notes, and I hope that they help you decide what small changes you want to make next. Listeners, you are in for a special treat today. Joining me now is Monalisa. She's a great friend of mine, and she's also a fellow Master Medical Qigong practitioner. I was lucky enough to meet her when I first started my intensive 3-year journey toward becoming a Master Medical Qigong practitioner. She was a great colleague. She always challenged and pushed me to learn more, to lean into things where I myself was uncomfortable, and she made the training just so much more pleasant. We, unsurprisingly, have remained close ever since, and I'd like to welcome you, Monalisa.
Thank you, Kat. I'm really grateful to be here with you today to explore this topic deeper with you.
My favorite part is we're actually in person. You remember when we first met, it was like COVID had just started and we were just starting our Qigong program, and here we are supposed to do this intensive, deep learning, and suddenly we have to do everything remotely.
Yeah, it really took away from the experience, but then gratefully we were able to come out of that more resilient, of course, and to lead our way into great things.
Yeah. So I have to ask, when we first met in person, was there anything that surprised you about me?
Actually, I've never thought about that question, but now that you bring it up, doing something virtually, you lose a lot of personal aspects of a person. But then when you get into the real space with somebody, chemistry happens. And so when I met you, we instantly clicked. We had a lot of things in common and things just flowed like we've known each other for years. So that was the most surprising thing because you wouldn't expect that meeting somebody for the first time.
Yeah, no, exactly. I know we had the classes before, but it's all the conversations you get in between like the programming. And I knew you were a nurse, but I think we went to lunch one day and there was like this rock energy crystal shop across the way. And I sort of like hesitantly was like, do you want to go? And you were very excited. And I walk in there and suddenly I realize I'm with like a crystal guru and you knew everything. And now, you see my office is entirely covered with rocks and crystals. And it's been really great learning all of these small, unusual areas that we have in common.
Absolutely. So. I totally agree with you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, again, for doing this podcast, because I'm really excited that now we get to share a huge passion of both of ours, Qigong.
We've come a long way in it, and here we are ready to share it with the world.
Yeah. So today we're talking about emotional resilience with the listeners, and I was hoping you might share a little bit about your personal journey.
Absolutely. When I found Qigong, I had no idea what it was, but it hit a lot of check boxes for me, not just the physical realm, but the emotional realm, especially because I was suffering with being emotionally sensitive in a lot of ways. I could cry at the drop of a hat. I'd get angry and flip tables if I really was provoked.
Ultimately, these outward expressions of emotions didn't bode well in social aspects. And it didn't bode well for me internally. I didn't understand why these outbursts were happening. I just accepted them as who I was. But then after I learned Qigong and understood that emotions can be tempered, can be processed in healthy ways, and can be understood and felt and be really connected to, really gave me a powerful tool to be able to navigate my emotions and to help others do the same by using simple techniques to help level out emotions so that, you can go through life, experience all the stuff that life throws at you with ease, with smoothness, without having those fluxes of crazy emotions that came out of nowhere.
Wow. It sounds like we both got a lot of profound teachings during our Qigong training. Were there any special techniques or moves that you learned that really pivoted how you started to deal and manage things like stress?
Yeah, I consider myself a healer. I'm a nurse and I do other things to help others cope through life. But I realized I wasn't tending to my own well-being and healing. And the first thing that we learned in Qigong practice was to purge out these emotional stuff that we've collected over our lifetime. The way that we process emotions through our life, or our emotions are hindered or stifled, they become stored in us deep down and then kind of rear its ugly head at random moments. And it got really confusing, not just for me, but for other people in my life, in my relationships. So to learn to purge out these emotions so that you can approach life in a clear, manageable way so that when life throws stuff at you, your emotional cup is not already filled to the brim, so that you don't react harshly, inappropriately, and it gets really confusing and conflicting in your day-to-day interactions. So the one practice that was extremely powerful are the 6 healing sounds. If you're not familiar, the 6 healing sounds is an ancient practice of using your own sound vibration, using your own voice and resonance to create this vibrational purging of emotions that get stuck deep in your bodies, your cells, and your organs. And once you can purge out those emotions, then any emotional reaction that you have is much more smooth, much more tempered.
It sounds like we both focused on the same kind of first learning with Qigong, which is you have to start with yourself and you have to start by letting go and purging out all of the excess emotion that you've held onto in your life. So those boxes that were up on the shelf, they got to come down. You got to sit with them. And then you can use Qigong to help you process them out and release and let them go. I know I haven't talked too much to our listeners about Qigong, so let me explain a little bit about what it is. It's an ancient Chinese practice that involves gentle movements, breathing techniques, and mindfulness. I really love this work because it basically harmonizes our mind and our body and our spirit. And the direct benefits are a extreme reduction in stress, a supercharged enhancement of our natural resilience. And I know both of us have a pretty regular, almost daily Qigong practice. I personally feel like it's significantly improved my emotional resilience, my self-awareness, and just this inner calm and peace that I have day to day. Have you experienced similar?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I don't know how I got through life without Qigong, to be honest.
Yeah, the same. So we've introduced Qigong, which sometimes can be kind of a big concept. And I love that your first suggestion is healing sounds. I'm going to try to include a link that listeners can explore that practice. But here on Say Yes with Kat, we've really tried to focus on providing listeners with a small change that they can start to make right away. So is there maybe an easier Qigong technique that our listeners could tap into more easily?
Yeah, something very simple but extremely effective. Breathing. I mean, it's something that we do every day, all day, but when you consciously add deep breathing into your life, it helps your body relax. And once your body relaxes, your breath becomes easier, smoother, deeper, and relaxed. And then ultimately your mind becomes more tranquil. It's this chain reaction, and it really emphasizes, the connection between our body, our mind, and our breath. Very simple, but very poignant and effective.
I think that's a great small key takeaway, listeners. Breathing. You're doing it right now. I promise. If you're not breathing, please give me your phone number because I'd love to know how you're pulling that one off. But we're not just talking breathing, right? She used a magic word, deep breathing, folks. What I want you to do is breathe in, and I want you to fill your whole belly up. Take the deepest breath you have taken all day. And when you exhale, I don't want it to be like you let the balloon out and it's flying around the room. Nice, controlled exhale. You're going to begin to build up these little micro muscles in your abdominals, in your lungs, and you're going to start to train yourself. Hey, when I'm not sitting here intentionally telling you to deep breathe, the muscles remember that you did this exercise, and you will naturally start to breathe deeper every day. And guess what that means? More oxygen. Your body will love you. So please set an alarm, wake up 5 minutes earlier, and spend those 5 minutes lying in bed, breathing deeply. Go to bed 5 minutes earlier. Spend those 5 minutes breathing deeply. I promise this is one of the best small takeaways we could possibly give you throughout what will hopefully be a long history of Say Yes with Kat. Monalisa, it's been great having you here with me today. Is there any last little nugget that you want to leave our listeners with today?
Yeah. So one thing that really helps me, and hopefully it'll help your listeners, is that we can tap into your breath at any moment. Anytime you feel an emotional rise, whether it's anger, anxiety, stress, whatever, stop, take that breath that Kat was talking about, and just tune in and feel, making that connection, that relationship between you, your body, and your breath can be what makes or breaks the next reaction that you have and the next emotion that you may feel.
Great. Thank you so much for that, Monalisa. So, friends, emotional resilience is within your reach. It's within everyone's reach. Start by embracing the 8 pillars of holistic health. Follow teachings from inspirational leaders like Pema Chödrön, and begin integrating powerful practices like Qigong and the deep breathing we mentioned today. And remember, this is your journey. It's all about taking these small, meaningful steps towards a healthier, happier you. Full color. Until next time, say yes to your well-being and take care. Don't forget, please like and subscribe to our channel.